Welcome, everyone, to another weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And we are now in the full spring con season. And full spring con season means Dana buys a bunch of stuff on eBay to bring to cons, and I can see it all.
Yeah, you get quite the show from the things I watch and the things I buy. But one thing I'm not bringing to a con that I did spend money on was I'm usually on the other end, selling after someone dies. But this time, I was the buyer.
What'd you buy? I mean, I know already. I looked through the emails.
Yeah. I pulled the trigger on a Val Kilmer 11x14 because honestly, the price wasn't far off. It was under $200 with a Beckett witness sticker. So I just pulled the trigger on that. I like I said last week, it's one of those, like, there's a situation with him where I thought I had endless time to finally complete the combo, and time ran out, so I completed it.
Wait, so you got Batman?
I got Batman.
Of all the things.
Well, listen, I would have maybe a little more so preferred a Tombstone print, but this seller with the fair pricing had crappy Tombstone pieces. It was bad signatures. It was black and white prints. It was nothing good. When the values go down a little bit, which I imagine they will, honestly, Kevin Conroy's like the only one I can think of where the value spiked and it kind of just stayed there. He really never came down very much. I'll eventually get a Tombstone, but yes, I started off with Batman.
So, nothing else. The other stuff we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
So you had a signing today. The venue is called the Red Parrot. How was it?
Well, listen, first of all, I was at a venue called the Red Parrot meeting a moose, which the whole thing sounds kind of crazy, but it was good. I actually liked I liked the venue. I was critical of the Wrestling Universe's pizzeria option. I always support the Wrestling Universe, but I really didn't love the pizzeria. It was bustling. There were napkin dispensers around. I just wasn't thrilled with a pizzeria as a signing place. But the Red Parrot was actually really nice. Parking was easy. They had a back room that was like private, and there was ample space for drying, ample parking space. I liked it. So I am all in on the Red Parrot.
So it was Moose today. So Moose is a wrestler from TNA?
He is with TNA. He has he signed a contract with them a few years ago. Again, he re-upped. His goal was apparently to be the face of TNA. He wants to be the name that is synonymous with TNA. And I don't really know how possible that is. I really think that's always going to kind of be AJ or Jarrett. But maybe that's just me being old and that's what I remember. But he's carved out a pretty nice career over there. He recently headlined the NXT special at the MSG Garden, at the MSG Theater. And apparently people in WWE were very high on him and what they saw. So I think he originally said that this last contract with TNA would be his last contract and he would retire. But he's only 40 years old, and I think he'd be 42 when the contract's up. So I feel as though WWE might come a-calling, and I don't think he would turn it down.
So how was he?
He was interesting. When I walked up, he instantly commented about the size of the stack, which is always kind of a silly thing, since he's paid a guarantee by the vendor who brought him out. And as you are very strongly on the record of believing that they really should have pen in hand to be moving it the entire time.
Yeah, it strikes me as funny and strange because you had said when you were telling me how the event went before, you're like, oh yeah, he didn't want to sign, and I'm like, he was booked for a. I'll never understand these people who are booked for a signing who then are shocked when they have to sign. The whole thing is just bizarre to me. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how serious his hesitancy to sign was, because he saw the prints and he was insane. He was blown away with the prints, and he told me they were the greatest prints he's ever seen, and he wanted one or two of each one to keep for himself to sell at his gimmick table.
So we can talk about this for a sec, because this has happened more than once to us, where a talent sees the prints that we bring and they want physical copies of them right there. So could you just explain to people why this is kind of like a nightmare scenario for us?
It's bad because our prints are, exclusive to us more or less. And now, he has some at his gimmick table. I don't even know where his show is tonight. I don't even know what he's doing. Probably somewhere in Jersey. And, we don't necessarily want our images being made common on, these people's websites and eBay stores and tables and all that.
And even just from a basic economic level, we pay for these, and when we do a deal with someone, we pay for X number of prints, and now that we only run that, maybe one or two extras in case there's a pen incident. So now we're down a decent number of prints to this guy. We already paid for them. We paid for the prints, and then we're down the prints, and it cuts into the margin on the whole signing. This happened. I can't remember. You know what's funny? I never actually this happened with Olivia Hussey. That it somehow escaped my telling of the story. Did I even tell you that at the time?
I don't remember which one it was now, but yes, I remember that she wanted something, and you ended up having to give her
I gave her 4 or 5 prints. She wanted the print of herself from the Batman Superman cartoon. She wanted the one from Mother Teresa. To be fair, she wanted all the ones that we just don't sell anyway, so it didn't really matter that much. But it's still, those things we still cost over $1 to print each one, so it's annoying. But you gave him some prints, which seemed to satisfy whatever hesitation he had to sign, and then he signed nicely.
Yeah, he was great after that. He was concerned about color and making sure he signed in the right place. He told me he wants to put me in contact with TNA to do their graphics, and he wanted to know if I was trained in graphics professionally. And I told him I'm not, and I honestly would have zero desire to do graphics for TNA because I think that, they don't even pay their talent well. I don't think they're gonna be taking care of me too much on graphics.
Yeah, it's one of those things that sounds like a good idea, and then when you really break it down, there's just no benefit in it, because unless you just really want to be like a braggart who can say that they worked for this third-rate wrestling promotion, whatever. It's just a funny thing. I can imagine there are people who would just die at the opportunity to do that. But they
could add that to their work history section of Facebook. That would be pretty big. But so all was well. The metallics that were limited to begin with are even more limited. And it's just the whole thing like that. It's unfortunate because, we ran prints that we didn't get signed. So we lost $50 in prints. The vendor that had him out was expecting X amount of dollars for me that I didn't pay him. I paid him for what was signed, not what was taken, through no fault of his. And, he lost money. And I guess Moose is doing well. He's selling them at his table. Hopefully he's doing right by our print value.
Honestly, I hope he dropped them in a puddle as soon as he walked out of the building. Which makes them more limited.
Yes.
It's just one of those things that's annoying. It happens. Who else did it happen with? It happened with Olivia. Who else did it happen with? I can't remember. I know you've had one or two where they've... Who asked you for to email? Oh, Charles Mason.
Yeah, Charles Mason, and that I actually did. Because, it was fine, and he still hasn't posted them or done anything with them. So, I don't regret that. And I had Rikishi once wanted me to... He didn't even want me to email him. He wanted me to print and then mail him the physical 11 by 17 pay-per-view posters that he would hang up in his gym. Which, if you know anything about that family and the level of carny that they are, don't hold your breath waiting for me to go do charitable acts for them.
He wanted you to do this on your own dime, right?
Yeah. On my own dime. There was absolutely no mention of any sort of compensation. He could have at least offered me a free 8x10 or something to at least seem like he's doing the dance.
That doesn't work for him, brother.
No.
That's funny. That's a thing. It's the kind of thing that if you work any kind of privates or any kind of bulks with talents, once in a while, it's gonna happen. It will happen. It's a funny thing.
And for a split second, I thought, I could tell him they're all sold. I could tell him I can just straight up say no. But then it's a whole situation of, does he refuse to sign completely? Does he just phone in the signatures and give you squiggles? Does he thumb them? I don't think you would have had a very happy signer. And if you have an unhappy signer, you're probably not getting a product you're going to love. So it's one of those types of taxation types things that you just let them go.
It's how it goes. It's how it goes. So what else we got going on? C2E2 is this weekend. And that's an insanely stacked show, and that was one that there was a blip of a moment where you wanted to go for what's his face, Emilio, right?
Yeah, I mean it's completely illogical because I wasn't even like one of those people that was a diehard Mighty Ducks fan. Like as a kid of that age group, I saw them; they were cool, but like I wasn't a hockey fan enough to love them that much. So honestly, me having even the slightest urge to go for Emilio Estevez is really just proof of my insanity, because it would be largely a Pokemon type of move. It's not like my all-time favorite actor. But no, it was a really, really cool lineup, and much like Mr. T that we discussed last week, this is another one of those appearances that they are billing as one time only.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, look, Emilio Estevez has never done a con. He not only has never done a con, but people have been like clamoring for him to do this. I mean, obviously, the Breakfast Club is a big deal, but Young Guns and Mighty Ducks and things. These are all things that are pretty noteworthy franchises. And you sent me a picture of they I guess they sent out a promo shot of the group photo op with they have this little backdrop with lockers and stuff. It looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. If you're a huge Breakfast Club fan and you do it, hopefully people get them done this weekend and start sending those ops to Marked Out so we can have a comment on them, right?
Yeah. And it's honestly a type of trend I would love to see really take off, where instead of just having the intrusive backdrops with show logos that, I don't think anyone really cares for, that they would do like more customized ones for the different reunions. Like imagine like when Monster Mania had the Lost Boys reunion, if you would have had like some sick backdrop of like that bridge or something that just would fit like the movie. Like
something thematic.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And, I think that's awesome. So I'm a little more regretful for not being a C2E2, but I also realize that that's also just me being psychotic.
I don't know. I'm not opposed to traveling for a show if there's something super cool. I mean, I went to Chicago for shows. I went to San Francisco for a show. I went to LA. So I'll go to shows. But I get the general point there. So a big news for Fan Expo Philly. It's really funny because after we were like, yeah, Fan Expo Philly can't get any bigger with Mel Gibson, they went ahead and added John Cena to Fan Expo Philly. So Fan Expo Philly has like an insane budget right now. I don't know what they're doing. And it's it's funny is I believe the John Cena was one of the first people that we got on like a hunt together. It may have actually been that was that first day that we went on our first like Marked Out hunt together, right?
Yeah.
We did Danica McKellar in the morning, and then a free John Cena signing at the GNC store in Midtown right after that. That would have been.
Keep in mind it wasn't free. We bought some giant like 17-gallon jug of protein that we returned. It wasn't supposed to be free. We just marked out our way to making it free. Yeah,
I mean, it's so funny because in my head, that is such an obvious thing. We bought the stupid thing of protein, but it was only like $20 or $30 anyway, which just rounds down to free. And then I returned it so fast. It was my fingerprints were barely even on the jug.
Oh yeah, right out the door. But that was a good signing. It was one personal item. It was the store's like promotional 8x10 and a photo op. All for $20 jug of protein.
Yeah, it was. I had brought with me at that time. It's completely unhinged, but I was carrying with me all through Manhattan that day a giant pay-per-view chair, that Great American Bash pay-per-view chair. I brought that to a lot of signings. That actually completed that stupid thing. But anyway,
still have it?
I do. Well, it's in my parents' basement. In like a plastic bag, to protect it from whatever mildew. It's just in storage down there.
Listen,
the last one I got was Batista. I got Batista at Rhode Island at the time, so that was That was my last time I got it done, which is not even only a couple years ago. So it took years to finish that thing. I got Triple H at that Costco. I got, who the hell was on that thing besides them? I
Shawn
forget.
Michaels, Punk.
Yeah, so Michaels and Punk I got at that Ringside Fest, and Michaels I got at that I believe it was George's store actually. Yep. And yeah, so
but yeah, it's always a true sign of a treasure in your life they have to protect from mildew.
Yeah, I have like wrapped in a trash bag in my parents' basement, and where it will probably stay forever.
It's right by the Hope Diamond. Yes.
Yeah, because really, what am I going to do with it? But I digress. But anyway, so I have a great John Cena photo op back when I was younger and had hair. I have a beautiful John Cena autograph, from then, and now I'm actually eyeing. They have this package, and this shows you how deranged I am. They have this package, it's like $800, but it gives you what they advertise it as a fully loaded John Cena autograph with inscription and character name, and a unique one-of-a-kind selfie, whatever that means, and then a front row seat to his, he has this performance that night. And so I'm thinking about it, and just dollars for dollars, it's to do a fully loaded autograph via a private signing will be $500 and up to get all that stuff, character name, quote, the whole shebang. I'm intrigued by what the unique photo op is. And I know John Cena is a funny dude. And I know having the, front row seats at his show would be a hoot. I think I'm going to go for it. As crazy. Here I am. I've been saying since January, my New Year's resolution was to reduce my collection. The issue is I don't know what item to get signed by John Cena. And it's the one impediment to my I haven't purchased this thing yet because I don't exactly know what I want to get signed, and it's stressing me out.
Yeah, I mean, the spinner belts are sold out, and I know you probably wouldn't even want the WWE shop one. You would probably want some extra, exclusive belt.
Well, the WWE shop ones are expensive. Those I would take that. I mean, that's fine. But I mean, the problem with the belts is, what do you do with it? The belt just sits under the bed, You
wrap it in a garbage bag to protect it from mildew.
Yeah, but you're joking, but it's really, what do you do with it? And so I want something that I could, this is the fundamental problem with all of this. No matter what I got, the coolest item on earth, what am I going to do with it? Nothing. So I have this desire. I want this possession, this thing, but I don't really want it because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So it's funny because we were kicking around the other day, and this is going to lead to our conversation later on, but I was kicking out. So for WrestleMania in Vegas, they have this really, really cool print of Cena versus Cody. And so I was like, all right, I'll get Cena at Philly, and I'll get Philly Fan Expo, and I'll get Cody at Fanatics. And the friggin' Cody autographs when I went in were sold out before I even had the chance to buy one. So that, I know there's a good chance they'll release more in the near future, but it's kind of informed my decision because I'm not going to buy that now and take that. The poster's $50 on its own, so I'm not going to buy that just for Cena. It's so yeah, I don't know what to get. If anyone has any ideas for a Cena item, I don't know what it should be. I really don't. I already have Cena on, for something I haven't told you. I already have Cena on an undisputed belt. I have an undisputed belt with Cena already, just him. That I got off eBay years ago for way underpriced. Yeah. And then, I have the chair with Cena on it already. The issue is, what kind of item would I get that would really benefit from a quote and a character name? Obviously, character name John Cena. For a wrestling item, there's no benefit there.
The Doctor of Thugonomics.
It could do Doctor of Thugonomics, whatever. But that's, I don't know. I'm more of as crazy as this sounds, I'm more of a late Cena than an early Cena fan. I don't know. I don't know what I'd get. I love Peacemaker. Here's what happened though, and my Peacemaker story. The last time Cena did New York Comic Con, it was very strict. No quotes, no character names. Well, I used a marked out trick that I will not reveal on the air.
I think you've already revealed it, but go on.
Should I kayfabe it or should I say?
Kayfabe it.
All right, fine. So I used a trick that I've been using for a long time that works. It used to work 100% of the time. Now it works 70% of the time. and I was able to get Cena to put a ridiculous quote plus character name on a Peacemaker Funko. I put it up on eBay. It cost me. Cena was, I think, $150 on autograph back then at that New York Comic Con, and I put it up on eBay for $1,000, figuring if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I have it in my collection, and wouldn't you know, it sold for $1,000. That's how cool and unique the character name was. So, and so I've already done that. I already have a picture of that. My Funko with that unique art. So in theory, I can replicate that, but it wouldn't be the same. It would be the second one out there, if that makes sense. And I'm not sure a Funko is the right item to get because it doesn't feel like it has the gravitas that I'm looking for. This is to a normal person.
I think you need a pair of jorts.
To a normal person, this conversation must sound totally nuts. And listening to myself say, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Because I actually went through WWE Shop and I looked up every John Cena item, and not a single thing stuck out at me. I went through eBay. I was just looking through pages of John Cena items. Nothing is jumping out at me. It's interesting. I don't know.
Well, here's the really sad part. You having this battle with insanity has caused me to start thinking that I need a John Cena autograph. And I actually have that WrestleMania 21 poster, which, honestly, is probably his most pivotal WrestleMania, because that's really what started his whole era. So I feel like I should get him on that, but that's a whole pain in the ass. I got to deal with the Mel Gibson autograph line. I got to deal with his autograph line. I got to deal with Pro Ops. It just feels like something I'm going to regret mightily when I am actually on the ground trying to make it all happen.
Yeah, it's tough. This is the kind of thing where I would do an event chair or something like that, But what do I want that for? That's another thing. I'll just drive straight to my parents' house and throw it in the basement if I get one. And so, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, part of me wants some kind of cool thing. You're talking about arguably, and I mean this realistically, he's the biggest wrestling star of all time. I don't even think it's close. And this is someone who grew up in the era of Hulk and who really was a huge fan of Stone Cold and The Rock. And I think in terms of longevity and peaks of popularity, nobody can touch John Cena. Nobody. And there's a good chance nobody ever will. And in terms of,
I think having that Grail piece in your collection done to the nines with all the different, crap you could have him throw on there. I think, honestly, whether you would keep it, whether you would sell it for $2,000 2 years from now, I think it's something that is I think a collection needs it.
And I'm a fan of his work. I really like the Peacemaker show. Have you ever seen? I think I've asked you. Have you ever seen the movie Vacation Friends?
No, but I've seen the trailer. That I know it's funny. I just haven't gotten around to it.
It's very funny. I was, it's a stupid comedy, whatever. I was expecting it would be, worth a chuckle or two. It's very funny. Have you seen Ricky Stenicki on Amazon Prime?
No.
What exactly do you? No. You're not watching the whole John Cena filmography? No, it's like when I said I'm watching John Cena movies all day.
Have you seen The Marine?
I actually have not seen The Marine. I have not. I'm much more likely to watch a comedy if it's a bad movie, or something dumb.
Yeah.
I'm much more likely to watch a comedy than something that's not a comedy. I know The Marine's bad, but Ricky Stenicki's bad too, but in a good kind of way.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I was gonna say I actually have a original full size Marine poster that I would give you for the low price of free $99 if you wanted that. That would be the real premium item you're looking for.
The problem is, I really like Vacation Friends, but would I ever do anything with a Vacation Friends poster? No, it's a waste, right?
Yeah. It's like getting The Rock on a Tooth Fairy item. You can't do that.
It's stupid. I agree. And even shoot, these people don't know. One of my Rock autographs when I met The Rock was on a Star Trek poster because he was in an episode of Star Trek. Not what was after? Was it Voyager? I think it was Voyager. No, it was Voyager. It was the one after. It was Voyager or Enterprise. What the hell? Voyager. Yeah, it was Voyager. So
you're also the guy that has a Robin Williams autograph, your only Robin Williams autograph on a Law and Order SVU piece. So
you know what's deranged? I forgot that I got him to sign that until you just said it.
Yeah.
It's that poster. It's funny that you say that. That poster, I never was able to get Mariska to sign it because she only hit my jacket. She only hit the one item. Shit. We got to go back out for Mariska.
This sounds like a scene from Back to the Future.
Oh my god. I love how this nothing. None of this is planned on our sheet here on our episode sheet. But anyway, the John Cena thing. How about this? Someone give me an idea. Sell me something. If you have something for sale or post on Facebook or something, send me a message. I want to get something that is not obtrusively large, but kind of unique, kind of important. Let's just say money is not that much of an object. I'm willing to pay. It's fine. Something that I'm really going to go, damn, that's like a centerpiece of the collection. That's a meaningful piece. We'll see. We'll see what I come up with.
My serious suggestion would be, and then we'll move on, in all seriousness, a John Cena Ultimate. Because, I mean, those figures are just so signable. They have so much window. It's a great shape. It doesn't take up that much space. It wouldn't be unique, but if you got it done up to the nth degree, it would be pretty unique regardless.
I just don't want figures like that. I don't want a figure. All right, for someone, I don't want a figure. Unless it's a really unique, weird figure. Something that's like rare. But John Cena doesn't really have any rare figures, does he? He has that one Funko that's really
and there's
rare.
That new one that is coming out that he's like see-through. That's, I guess, I don't know how rare that'll end up being.
Nah, I don't think about that. I want that. I want something that's rare enough that's it's like a showpiece. I don't know. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I can't. I don't know. But something that's a showpiece. You know what? Yes. I wonder if there are any replica props or anything from Peacemaker. I'll look into it. There's also it's the funny thing is there's other stuff with Philly Fan Expo. So you bought a Gotham poster for no reason.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm sure they'll be back at some point, but like you already predicted this, the mid-card names on this show are always like, it's always a constant, like static, like changing thing. So Ben and Morena from Gotham canceled. And as luck would have it, the old Charlie Cox is coming to town with his insane pricing, which apparently one of our listeners chimed in that he's been doing this before. So this is not new pricing to this tour. I guess, last year, whatever he did, I forget what he said he did. It was something up in New England. I think maybe Boston Fan Expo. It was something up there. And it was the same pricing. So, I mean, I guess it's working for Charlie. So he's going to keep dragging it out. And I'll be skipping him here as well.
Listen, if you pay these prices for Charlie, I think you're a fool. That goes for anyone. They're too high. I don't know. Whatever. So it will. Again, the good thing is we'll be at this show, so we can assess what the lines look like for Charlie, right?
Yeah.
So, you let me know that there's a Kelsey Grammer book signing at Bookends. So, part of me wants to go for the photo op because he denied me the photo op at the bar. The bar story is the most frustrating thing. I can't remember. We told the full bar story or we didn't on here?
I think that predated us doing this, and I don't believe we ever really delved into it at great length.
So he was doing these beer, some tasting. He was guest bartending some of these things, and we were watching report after report after report of people showing up to these bars where Kelsey Grammer was bartending and just racking, getting autographs, getting photo ops, easy peasy, right? It seemed like very easy. So
yeah, it felt like you were on Cheers, the way they all seemed so laid back.
You look at all these. We saw so many reports online. This is so easy. So one comes to Jersey, but the problem is Jersey for us. There's Jersey just over the bridge is easy, but then when you start getting into West Jersey or South Jersey, it starts to be a little bit of a drive. So this place was not around the corner. It was a solid 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive. But Kelsey Grammer is a big name and very important credits and super exciting. So we get in there and it's an absolute zoo. It's mayhem. It's filled with middle-aged women. I mean, filled with them who are all trying to be like the one who goes home with Kelsey Grammer, basically. And what's so funny is they clearly don't know Kelsey Grammer if they're middle-aged women trying to go home with Kelsey Grammer. But that's a story for another day. So we were able to get our things. I got the Frasier Funko Pop signed. Really, it took like 20 minutes of just holding it out to the bar for him to eventually take it and sign it. What did you get done?
Same thing, Fraser Funko. I think you got it done before I did because you were on photo op mission after that. I had a photo from Broadway years ago, so I was just trying to get the damn Funko signed, and honestly, I got close to not even getting that done. It was just a complete.
You were at the very very end, right?
I was bouncing, running back and forth around the bar trying to get my angles right, and it was just bad. It was bad time, bad news. I have the op, so I don't really have the temptation for this, but I mean, I can see why you're feeling any sort of thought because you need it.
So I mean, it was the frustrating thing because as he's walking out, I'm standing in the line of fire to try and get a photo. He wouldn't even stop, and then we ran out to the back, and as he's going out to the car, there were maybe 6 or 7 people back there. Nothing, wouldn't do anything. So it was pretty frustrating. The bar story. It was very frustrating. We drove so long. If it was, if the same thing had happened at Bookends, if it was that kind of drive, it wouldn't be a big deal. But it was a far drive, and it was annoying.
Apparently, he did something in Greenport about a month or so after that I didn't find out about until after the fact, and that was laid back like the rest of them. So that's the one we should have done.
Greenport's a hell of a drive too, though, man. It's not that's
a little less for me, but yeah, I mean, it's still a drive.
Not Jersey though. But anyway, if he's going to be at Bookends, did they? Cause I didn't look at the website. Did it say he's doing photos?
It didn't on the flyer. When I last checked, the comments were asking about it, and they really didn't say anything either way. I think it's pretty much a slam dunk that he will. That he's always pretty damn good. Bookends, it's usually always up to the talent. They don't really ever sway it one way or the other. So I wouldn't feel too worried about it.
When is this? Do you know?
Let me just pull it up. It is on
May 6th.
A Tuesday night at 6 p.m.
Oh, God. A Tuesday night. So, it's funny. I used to run out to, like, Bookends on all nights of the week. This is what I did. I used to do this all the time. I would just run out. And what a hassle, let me tell you.
Yeah, Tuesday might honestly be worse than Monday, because on Monday you're still riding high from the weekend's, rest. Tuesday, you're you're climbing the mountain. Who the hell wants to do that?
I don't know. And God forbid I don't get a photo op. I couldn't even tell you. I would be devastated at that point. That's that drive.
You just try it out, out back again.
Ugh.
Second time's the charm.
I used to go to. I can't tell how many times I went to Bookends for like Jesse Ventura. I used to go to Bookends all the time for this kind of stuff. I know because you know what it was. It used to be I drive an hour after work, big deal. Now driving an hour after work is like you put a gun to my head. This is a nightmare. So I'll entertain it. May 6th. I'll see. It's close actually. After vacation,
it's coming up.
And look, they didn't sell out, so that's good. So I noticed that you're not going to go to Bookends no matter what. You have no interest.
Maybe I would get some sort of a Sideshow Bob item done if there was any indication that he was doing merch, which he's probably not. But
it doesn't say no merch.
I'm saying it doesn't say no merch. So maybe I would consider something for Sideshow Bob, because that's the problem. I got that phone done by Hank Azaria, and you know what that means. I've now started a Simpson collection.
That's right. You broke the seal on The Simpsons. You can't go back. That's it. Now you're a Simpsons collector.
The Simpsons seal. It's broken. So
I don't know if you know this. Did I ever tell you this? This was like during COVID. So I'm not sure I told you. I bought someone has a Simpsons Comics #1 signed by Matt Groening. It was local to me, and I bought it, and I got it like Beckett encapsulated. It's legit. I bought it from someone on Facebook Marketplace for like $30 or something, $20. So I do have a Matt Groening autograph, that I bought. I mean, listen, for the right price, everything's for sale for my collection. I actually haven't priced that out value-wise in a long time. I have no idea.
Maybe you can trade it for your Cena showpiece.
Maybe. I don't know. If anyone wants it. When I bought it, I really had no idea how to go about doing like any TPA and some of that. So I got it Beckett encapsulated. So it's not even graded or anything. But it's a comic book. It was a stupid decision, but it looks great, but I know that's not kind of the way people typically do comic books like that. So they usually do like CGC or something like that. So so anyway, yeah, I have a Simpsons comic. Like that's my only Simpsons item though.
There you go.
I
It's a
don't have
good
any
one to
phones
have.
and whatnot. Yeah. So I noticed that it's funny. You're becoming more like Terrence now in being willing to engage in fights on Facebook with people.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I'm starting to see that, which I think Terrence actually said this to me, that him and I are more alike than I think we ever wanted to realize back in the day. And I don't have a large amount of tolerance for just stupidity coming from people that want to sound like they know it all.
So the issue was around Ric Flair and the
Yeah,
price. I think Ken is doing a private signing with Ric Flair, right? And he was talking
yeah.
about the prices, and people complain about the prices.
Yeah, Ric Flair is doing a private through Fitterman with Ken. Ken did it at the same time we did it at a big event. He's doing another one, which frankly I don't blame him. Ric Flair's not getting any younger, and I think if Ken's numbers on his scale were anything like our numbers, I'm sure he did really well on it. So do it again. And you had people commenting about the price, and that's fine. If you're not in the business and you're a customer, you always have a right to speak on price. I used to be the biggest one complaining about all sorts of stupid things, including PayPal fees, as Terrence reminded us a few months ago. So I don't blame any of those people for commenting about price. But there was one vendor, which I won't say his name, but he's the guy that I think he was beefing with Dylan Hines' father. I'm not even sure why. I honestly, that was one of the aspects of that feud, that whole like scandal that was the dumbest of all. Cause I still don't really understand what was going on. But he's one of those vendors that popped up during COVID, and like you'd see him selling in like his bathroom on some like webcam from 1997, and no one knows who he is, no one's seen him anywhere. He just sort of sells crap, and he made some comment about how the vendors and the promoters that book Ric Flair set the pricing, not Fitterman. They book him and they set the pricing. And I pointed out that that's simply just not how it works lately. Every time I've seen Ric Flair in anywhere around here, anything I can remember promoted in the last couple of years, Fitterman is agent and vendor, correct?
Yeah, it's that's how it's been done. At least from what I've seen. I imagine at a bigger show like a Steel City, it's different. Or those kind of New York Comic Con or whatever, it's different. But at the smaller shows, that's how it is.
Yeah. So I may have called him a couple of nasty things like wannabe and nobody, and he's clueless. And I just said, don't act like you know it all. And he came back and forth, and he made some comment about that he has worked with Flair direct through Fitterman, and he sells his JSA Witness Flair stuff for $40. And I remarked that if you're selling Flair stuff for $40 with a sticker, no less, you got bigger problems than being clueless about the business, because that's just really just poor planning and just, dumb behavior. And apparently at that point, I was going back and forth with him too much. So I did what I will do a lot of times. I just blocked him because I didn't feel like dealing with going back and forth anymore. And someone told me today, apparently he sold them a JSA certed card for $35 plus shipping, and posted a screenshot of me saying that selling Ric Flair for $40 was a bad idea, and he was like, I guess, spiting me by selling it for $35 plus shipping. So I mean, I guess good job. You sold it for even lower.
Yeah, I don't really understand any of it.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to keep spiting me, I mean, I'll buy some Flair from for $35. Hell, if you really want to show me, sell it to me for $25, and I'll just hold it until he does. But
I mean, these guys, you just got to shake your head. Fitterman's one of those agents who understands how to control the price in the market.
Yeah,
they're pretty good at it. So there is no secret cheat code to getting cheap Ric Flairs. They don't exist. They don't.
And
exist.
I know the temperature we were cooking with us in Golden Ring, we had a pretty big number, and I know how their price structure is laid out. And what this guy's acting like he's getting, I mean, he would have needed 2,000 pieces to have what he's selling to make any sense. And even at 2,000 pieces, something tells me old Ryan ain't going that low, because again, he has a treasure trove, I'm sure, waiting for Flair's demise. Because I mean, he's not going to be beaten to any punches of Ric Flair stuff after he does.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. these people. But whatever, you can't argue with them because the only proof that you have, it's not worth it. It doesn't make any sense. They're just dumb. There's no other way to say it. They're just dumb.
Exactly.
But this is one of those businesses, and there are many businesses that are like this, where there's a certain like social cachet that comes from being in the know or on the inside. And that's what a lot of people really crave. They really crave being in the know or being on the inside more than making any money. And so, that's just, it's a funny, sad thing, but that's what these people really want. They want to be in the know. So I guess, he showed you.
Yeah.
Now you know. Now you know what's up. Now you know what's up. A real flare vendor took you to the woodshed and gave you a spanking.
Yes. And I'll be selling them for $235 when he does, but $35 now, I guess, is nice.
So we did get a report this week from Zach Linder.
We did. Zach is out and about, so I'm going to read this for you right here. So how's this for a report? I went to Tommy Fierro's wrestling collector shop in the middle of nowhere, New Jersey, to meet the Killer Bees, and Jumpin' Jim was not there. He drove 70 minutes to meet a single bee. Look at that. Zach met a bee. I met a moose. We're really hitting the entire animal kingdom here. To Tommy's credit, he immediately refunded his prepayment in cash. That's actually a ballsy move, because people could. I've heard vendors say when they refund that way that people that are just scum will then go and do a chargeback, and you end up losing the cash and the charge. So Tommy is definitely, top notch by just giving cash, and Zach's a good guy, so he's not going to do that. But that's a risky move. Anyway, so Ted Arcidi was also there. He talked about how Triple H has heart problems, doesn't wrestle anymore because he took the COVID shot.
Naturally, cause and effect.
Yes, absolutely correct. I think that made his nose grow a little bit as well. So after that science lesson and meeting with the single bee, he moved on to the GTSM show in Edison. This was not a well-run operation, but a truly insane athlete roster. He got autographs on the starting lineups from Bo Jackson, Sean Kemp, Frank Thomas, and Sammy Sosa. All came out great, but Bo was a bit ornery and said he doesn't sign jersey numbers and didn't allow table photos, even just of him signing the item. Big Hurt was by far the nicest and an awesome guy.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Jackson has a reputation for being a jerk. It's always been that way. I mean, I've read so many reports saying that Bo Jackson was not nice, so I'm not surprised at all. I'm also not surprised that Frank Thomas was cool because everyone says he's cool.
Yeah, he's a gentleman.
Yeah.
And those starting lineups are cool. I had a very small collection of them as a kid. It was never my favorite thing, but I liked them. And I'm not going to lie, whenever I see Linder or I see Myers posting their starting lineups, I get slight FOMO. And then I realize that I have far too many irons in the fire as is, and I really don't need any more.
Yeah, I also had a starting lineup collection, but I had it in the 80s when it was the little ones, and they got nicer and bigger, But and I some of them are super cool, and I do appreciate it. It's interesting because among sports collectors, a lot of the really hardcore sports collectors, they look down on getting the starting lineup signed, which I think is interesting because to me those are the coolest things to get signed. So it's kind of funny.
It's not as cool as a baseball, which is very unique.
But that's what they all, that's how they all, a bat, a baseball, a jersey number. So that's, sports collectors it's funny. Non-sports collectors about uniqueness. Sports collectors are often about uniformity. It's actually interesting because they probably pluck different psychological nerves almost as far as what instincts or what impulses they satisfy.
Yeah.
That upset that, but yeah, that wraps up that. That's the last for that report, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Zach.
So, yeah, awesome. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Collectibles official marketplace on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. And if you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today at markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Also, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. You can leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a rating on Spotify, or you can leave a comment, thumbs up, or thumbs down on YouTube. So we got more to talk about with Fanatics Fest.
Yeah, Fanatics Fest happened. Well, it didn't happen, but the whole frenzy of buying tickets happened. And my experience honestly wasn't bad. I know I'm sort of in the minority there. Plus, I really didn't want anything that was super exclusive. I joined the queue. Were you in the queue when I sent you the link, or you joined after that?
You sent me the link. I joined the queue.
Okay, I got in right before I sent it to you, which was around like 9:30, I guess, 9:30, 9:40. I was on my laptop. Did you join on your phone or a computer?
Phone. I was at
Okay.
work.
Yeah. So I had a much different experience than you, and we both joined around the same time. I got in around 10:07, which was 7 minutes after they opened the room. What time did you get in?
Probably 10:40.
Yes, yeah, that doesn't make sense. I don't know if computer versus phone plays a role in it or what it was. 'Cause I was on my laptop.
I think you get a randomized spot in the queue. That's how these things work.
Oh, so I just got lucky. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I got in at 10:07, and you were messaging me about, maybe just buy for me. And when I got in, Cody was gone. And I was even thinking about getting a Cody autograph. I'm like, oh, I should. I can do this. I'll get an ultimate done. I'll do this. I'll do that. And it was gone. So there was nothing to think about with Cody. So I didn't get Cody. And what I did get was, let's see what I got. I got an Allen Iverson photo op for Sunday, which last year he blew off his photos apparently and just left after the autographs. So here's hoping he does better this time around. Damian Priest photo op. When I bought the photo op, the autograph was still there. I considered getting an autograph, but I didn't. And then I got a Kevin Owens photo op. So to hand in my homework right now, my total purchase was $419.95, which is about, hell, maybe a quarter of what I spent last year. So unless they add a lot, this is a light Fanatics Fest by my standards. Did you end up getting anything?
I got nothing. Everything I wanted was sold out. By the time I got in, nothing was available.
So now you have an admission ticket to do what?
Well, I mean, I suspect, and I think it's reasonable to suspect, that they will add more tickets like they did last year. Remember, they had a second round.
Yeah, I would think.
I mean, they added a second round last year.
I don't remember how quick they went, because I don't think I needed anything at that second round.
They lasted longer. But I'll say this. I mean, I'm not gonna go if I can't buy anything. What the hell's the point? So as of right now, my spending is zero because I couldn't buy anything.
Yeah.
So it's pretty frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, if things pop back up, I might get some autographs. I might do because the pricing on Priest and Owens is pretty fair. Plus the which I don't think we discussed this on the air, but the whole Dwayne Wade thing, how we discovered on our episode that was previewing the on sale that he was doing 2 days. Well, I think that might have been a mistake because he was back to 1 day, and the 1 day he was back to was the day I wasn't going. So that's like $350 I was saving. So maybe I'd get some autographs if I had a chance. Owens, Cody, we'll see. If I end up spending $400 for this show and that's all I do, I won't be too mad. But I hope you're able to get something. They don't end up losing that admission ticket.
I mean, the truth of it is, I've read online people say, oh, they're clearly trying to incentivize people to buy the VIPs. That's why they do it this way. I mean, the VIP is a waste of money. It's BS, honestly. It does not confer enough benefits to justify it. And if they're going to make you spend, honestly, if it's going to be a thing that they're going to make you spend $600 on a ticket to be able to get anything, then I will not go back. It's really that simple. I'm not. There's no circumstance under which I'd buy a VIP to that show. Am I crazy? Under what circumstance would you buy a VIP to that show?
I mean, yeah. The short of it is I wouldn't. You would have to be given some sort of access where you're that you're in the 40-40 club, that you could realistically get like a selfie with Travis Scott or something. There'd have to be something big that you would have like a real tangible opportunity to get for me to even consider it. Like on a WWE level, which let's be honest, like you have the biggest sports names in the world. A few of the Yankees sold out. But most of the big sports names don't. So, I mean, I would just do Fanatics on a sports level. And I think with our ID stuff that we're doing, we're not going to have many WWE superstars in the next 5 years that we're going to really need to meet. Like, I think we're knocking them all out of the way early. So it is what it is. Like you said, I would not buy a VIP just to have the ability to get in. But if the VIP ticket, if that is what's going on, which I would imagine, unless it was some weird system error, that the VIPs are snatching up all the in-demand tickets, do you think the system is broken? Should they limit how many tickets you can buy? I think as of now, it was 8 tickets per transaction. Is that too many? Should they?
No. I look at the end of the day, if someone is willing to pay $600 plus buy 8 Cody Rhodes autographs. I mean, I know all the consigners went in, they bought all these things, which is like fine, good for you, I guess. How much money are they going to make on it? I don't understand the point of doing that. Sit in line all day long for $20, asinine. But yeah, I don't think it's broken. I think Fanatics is doing what it wants to do. This is one of those things, we talked about this strategy before. When you want to limit the number of bodies in the building, you raise the price, right? So clearly there were too many bodies in the building last time, so they raised the price. But you raise the price, you raises the amount of money coming in while it keeps the number of bodies down. So
yeah,
that's their prerogative. They want to do that. It just means I'm priced out of it because what did I need from this show? I mean, it's the kind of thing where I wanted a Damian Priest photo, I wanted a Cody combo. Beyond everything I got beyond that was going to be like gravy. If I decided to get other things, they would have been impulse buys. But now I'm not going to go unless they reopen those things. So yeah, I mean, by the time I got in, you said Cody and Rhea were gone by the VIP. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, and I think the Undertaker, but I think Undertaker was in and out. But they were putting more up.
But by the time I got in, Damian Priest was sold out. To me, I'm going to be honest, that's preposterous. It's just preposterous. But that's their business. They're the ones setting the price. They're the ones setting. What am I going to do? It's not. I'm not sure that it's broken as is. It's just more of a VIP event that I was willing to come up for, and I got unlucky.
And
you weren't my spot in the queue.
And I'm assuming since you didn't ask me to buy you like a Priest photo op or anything, without Cody or something bigger, you really didn't want to make the trip in just for that?
No, I did ask you to buy. I said, buy for me.
You did?
And then you said Priest is sold out.
Oh, damn.
So I absolutely would have taken that. It's just whatever. It is what it is. It happens. I was like disgusted when I realized what was going to happen when as soon as the queue popped up for me and you said you were halfway through and mine was like a little slit. My progress bar was a tiny little nub. I'm like, I'm never getting in, and I sat there and waited and never got in, and it's fine. I suspect they're going to open up more, and then I'll get it. If they don't, they don't. That's
so the final argument that people have been making. Do you think that they owe it to the GA people that they should sort of allocate like a certain amount? Like, should Cody have been able to sell out to the VIP, or should they have had like 10% or something that was saved for GA, time?
Nah. Listen, this is how it goes. There's never a guarantee of being able to buy these things. There never has been. It's always either. I guess you know what it is. These kinds of shows, Fanatics is trying to draw in common fans. I'm over this stuff. I've been doing New York Comic Con since I was 14 years old. I know how this goes. I know the game. These companies are all looking to extract every nickel out of these situations as possible. I get it. It's not about the fans. It never has been. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I get it. I'm always of that belief that if someone's got the big ticket, if someone has, if you're spending $700 and you want to buy up everything, I mean, go for it. I'm never the guy crying about scalping. It just is what it is. That's capitalism at work. That's free. That's a free market economy. That's whatever it is. And I'm with you. I don't think the system's broken. But like you said, I'm not buying a $700 photo op to be able to buy a photo op with, Carmelo Hayes in 3 years. If I can't just buy it the way I did today, this time around, then so be it.
Yeah, and that's how I kind of feel about it. I don't think they need to limit anything. I think these kind of things they work themselves out. If their system is broken, we'll know because they'll be the venue will be empty. I suspect it will be full. I suspect there'll be plenty of people in there buying things. And that's the truth, you know? Because last year, the same kind of thing happened. I mean, the top stars sold out right away, and you were there. It was a mob scene.
Yeah.
So the nature will find a way. This will get worked out. I think people largely, overreact and get all crazy about this kind of stuff because they don't get what they want right away. There's that disappointment that comes from a lack of immediate satisfaction. I understand that. I do understand being disappointed, and the people who people who buy a GA ticket with the expectation they'll be able to meet Cody Rhodes. Look, we've had this conversation before. People who buy a GA ticket with the expectation they'll be able to meet Robert Englund or Art the Clown, right?
Yeah.
The fact is, this hobby is becoming bigger than it's ever been. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The bigger the hobby gets, the more people want to do it. The more people want to do it, the more bodies that are in the building. There's only so many bodies that can get through a line in X number of hours. That's just it. That's just true. The demand for this is currently outstripping the supply.
Yeah, the hobby was a lot easier when you were going to meet Lou Ferrigno at the Columbus Auto Show, and you had 25 people lining up with whatever they had. This is big business now. This is, social media has blown it up to the point that like photo ops are actually like cool and people want them. And this is not it's not as niche as it was, although, it still kind of is, but it's a lot bigger than it was and the stakes are higher.
Yeah. A show like Fanatics has millions and millions and millions of dollars wrapped up into it. The budget for that show is over $10 million. So there's got to be a certainty they're going to make a profit on that. They got to do it. There's too much at stake. There's too much wrapped up in it. So look at there are Tops produces like exclusive card lines to be dropped at the show, right? Like Lids had exclusive hats. It's big money for this kind of thing. And I think people need to get their heads out of the sand in thinking that this is just like Ringside Fest, Yeah.
And ultimately,
this is not Ringside Fest. Ringside Fest was small potatoes compared to this.
Yeah, exactly. And ultimately, like, granted, the tables that we're on the other side of are like significantly smaller than the Fanatics Fest tables. But here's the deal: time is always limited. You can only get so much stuff done in the time frame you have. Last week we made Zeta Steel available to our listeners and our customers, and in a few moments we'll be announcing something else, and I'm happy to make that available to everyone. But if some Scrooge McDuck high roller out there wants to reach out to us and buy up as many autographs as we could possibly do in the time we have, and everyone else is shut out, oh well, catch us next time. Like, we're trying to sell these spots, we're trying to make our money. You're not really concerned about where the money's coming from. You just want to make the money. So I'll never judge anything like this for not limiting it more. Because at the end of the day, you want to sell your units, and when you sell what you have available to sell, it's a success. And then you can come back again next year and do it all over again.
I couldn't have said it better. That's just how it is. So what do we have in the works coming up? I see you you added Fan Expo Philly to the list, so that is we're locked in. Did you buy your ticket?
I didn't buy anything. I really, honestly, if I don't tonight, I may tomorrow morning. I really have to just lock this in.
I gotta buy it. I'm gonna buy it too, and I'm gonna buy the Cena thing too. Screw it. I'm buying it. But now, so if I'm buying the damn Cena thing, someone has to come through and find an item for me. So we're going to Fan Expo Philly. You doing Mel Gibson?
Yeah, but the problem is I bought a poster at 11 by 17 that was already signed by Danny Glover it was like $50. And like the signature doesn't pop super well. It's red paint. I would have probably done a different color, but whatever. It looks fine. I'll do a different color on Mel. The guy shipped it and it like hasn't updated. So it's kind of like it's one of those things where it's like it's floating somewhere out in the Bermuda Triangle. So I'm going to do Mel regardless, but that was such a perfect storm where I got the print, I got the Danny Glover autograph out of the way for half price. It was beautiful. I was very happy. So I'm really hoping it comes through, but one way or the other, I'm going to do Mel. I have to do Mel. As terrible as Mel's moments have been on a movie level, if we take all his personal demons out of it, I'm a big fan of the guy. So I got to do it.
There you go. Also, you added something new here. You're gonna make a trip to a dispensary.
I am. I am not a weed guy, but guess what? I am a G Unit guy. And Tony Yayo is the last original member of G Unit I need. I don't count Young Buck, although I probably should count Young Buck, but I don't know when I'm ever going to see Young Buck. And the game, I mean, I want the game, but I don't really count him on a G Unit level. This is it, the big three. When I got into G Unit, they were three. I have 50, I have Banks, and I will get Yayo. This is different than a lot of these dispensary signings I've seen. Typically, it's kind of ambiguous about like what you're going to get and how it works, which is what keeps me on the sidelines a lot. But this one actually is selling photo ops and autographs. Like you pick what you want and you just pay for it, which is nice.
Do you have to buy weed or no?
That's a good question. I hope not. So a photo op is $17. An autograph is $28, and a combo ticket is $39. So Yayo is priced like the ECW Zombie would be priced if he was still alive in 2025. It's actually a real steal of a price, I thought. But the issue now is I don't have an item, much like your Cena dilemma. I bought a vinyl on eBay. There was nothing local. So I bought it, and of course the guy didn't ship it Friday, and I'm still waiting for it to ship. If he doesn't ship it by Monday, I'm in some real problems. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I may have to just print something, which would be a lot less cool, but whatever.
So it goes.
Yep.
And then I got I mentioned it before, but on April 21st I have my meet and greet with The Used. I'm really looking forward to that. I've never met any members of The Used before, and I'm pretty excited for it. So once again, if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Collectibles official marketplace on Facebook. And we have 2 signings that we can announce now. One. Once again, you dropped the prints the other day. Zeta Steel will be at PWJ Damaged Goods Part 2. July 27th, so we're doing Zeta Steel Round 2 private signing with us. We are now accepting orders. They're live, right?
Yeah, and let me tell you, I think these are much better prints than Round 1, and we have some awesome prints available from Round 1 still. But, I mean, if you bought something from Round 1, take a look at Round 2. Like, honestly, my style, I'm always learning new tricks, and I love the prints we have for Round 2, and yes, I think it's a great assortment. And we have a new one to announce. Would you like to make the announcement for us?
Sure. Marcus Mathers also announced for PWJ Damaged Goods too, and so we will do Round 2 with WWE ID talent Marcus Mathers. So again, some sick new prints available, some really cool new designs. So those are also live, right?
They're live, and listen, I mean, we already got the seal of approval from Marcus's dad, who's a great guy. He loves them. So, Marcus, if you haven't seen this kid work, I mean, I think we talked about him when we recapped the Damaged Goods. He's a stud. His arc hasn't hit yet on Evolve. It's coming, but this dude is, a natural baby face. Whatever company he lands in, he's going to be on top of the card. He's young. He's cutting that whole Billy Starks type age group where he's got so much time. He's already figured it out, and he has so much time to like refine it and then go on a run. So if you got something from Part 1, take a look at what we have for Part 2. And if you didn't get in Part 1 and you felt like you missed out, And we also, on these signings, we never guarantee inscriptions and quotes and stuff and personalizations because, shit happens. French, included. Like, things happen. We don't want to, promise. But these guys are so chill. Like, there's not much risk. So if you want it personalized, if you want a little inscription that you can't get from what we have in stock right now, I'm pretty damn confident we can get it done. So place your orders. They are live. And we have another 2 signings that we'll be announcing in the coming days.
That's good stuff. So let's wrap it up this for this week. So for Marked Out Collectibles, markedout.com, and Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean.
I'm Dana.
And we will see you next week.